All right, so I asked you guys to graph your sine of x, so I hope you are already there. 0, 1, 0, negative 1, 0. I'm going to just dot it in. Now, I'm going to go back to a period change because out of the two, amplitude, reflection, and period, I'd say that we really are going to need the most help with a period change. We did 2 of them yesterday, and so everybody in here should know, and if you want to rewrite this again, that your period, your original period is 2 pi, but if you have a number in between the sine and the x, that's called your b, and so your period is always going to be 2 pi divided by b. So your standard form right now, we've got a sine of bx. So far, that's what we've got. And y equals a cosine of bx. So we're always going to use that number in between the cosine and the x, or the sine and the x. That's going to represent your b. Now, if we want to graph y equals the sine of 2x, then my period is going to be 2 pi divided by what? 2. And those 2's are obviously going to cancel. And so now my period is just pi. We did this with cosine yesterday. Now we're going to look at what happens when we do it with sine. Yes, everything on our x-axis is going to be cut in half. We still do the 0, 1, 0, negative 1, 0, but we start at 0 and then we have to end at 0. Where is your sine curve normally in the middle? Look, normally we go 0, 1, 0, right? So now we have to go 0, 1, 0 by pi over 2, and 0, negative 1, 0. Yes, it's going to smush it in. We have to get the entire mountain and trough in by pi. We've got to go 0, 1, 0, negative 1, 0 in a period of pi. If we do the next one, my zeros, I'm going to have a 0 at pi, I'm going to have a 0 at pi over 2, and I'm going to have a 0 at 2 pi. And then in the middle, I'm going up to 1, and then I'm going down. I'm smushing it in. How many complete cycles do I have in a measure of 2 pi? 1, 2, 2. It's got to go up and down, so 2. So what is my b, guys? 2. My b is 2. So that's how many complete cycles I'm going to complete. The number of complete cycles you have to make, yes. Now, if I want to go in the opposite direction, I'm going to go down first and then up. And then I'm going to go down first and then up. You cannot do this. That looks really bad. You cannot do this if you don't know your basic sine and cosine. I don't know how to be any more direct. If you don't know the main divisions and the main shape of your sine and cosine, then you can't figure out how to stretch it or shrink it. It's not going to happen. Let's go to the next one. Go ahead and let's graph our cosine. Y equals the cosine of x. I'm just going to dot that one in. It's 1, 0, -1, 0, 1. I'm just dotting in my basic cosine to remind me what I'm doing. And now I'm going to look at what happens if I say y equals the cosine of 4x. Cosine starts at 1. Yes, David. If I want y equals the cosine of 4x, then my period, which is normally equal to 2 pi over b, is going to be 2 pi over 4. And 2 over 4 just simplifies into pi over 2, right? So what does that mean? How many complete cycles? 4. I have to complete one entire cosine between 0 and pi over 2. What's my basic shape of cosine? Up, V down, and back up. Everybody agree with that? So I'm going to have to up, V down, and back up. 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 So this is gonna, and it's not gonna be perfect. I'm not gonna make you, we've already had that conversation that I'm not gonna make you do 1,000 different points, but it needs to look about like this. Every half a pi, I'm going to go from 1 all the way down to -1 and then all the way back up to 1. So if you notice, here is one cycle, here is my second cycle, here's my third cycle, and here's my fourth cycle, all between 0 and 2 pi. Yes, Rachel. Right. You want to do your major points at this point, Rachel. So you know that cosine is 1 down to -1 and back up to 1. Does that make sense? So at 0, I'm at 1. In the middle, it's going to be pi over 4. I'm going to go all the way down to -1. And then at pi over 2, because that's my period, I've got to be all the way back up to 1. Does that make sense? And then I just start that same pi over 2, I'm at 1. 3 pi over 4, I've got to go all the way down and then back up to 1. Now I'm being really nice to you all because we've been using multiples of 2. But when you get into higher level math classes, like you'll have a period of 5/6 pi, or you'll have a period of 3/2 pi, or you'll have a period of 2/3 pi. Some of those, they're tricky because you're trying, to divide If your period is 2/3 pi, then half of that is 1/3, and then half of that is 1/6. Miss Reuter is coming to join us as I'm making my video for my classes. Would you like to say hello, Miss Reuter? No. Let me pause for just a moment. Okay, so let's look at one more. We have 3 more minutes, and we're going to graph y equals the sine of x very quickly. 0, 1, 0, -1, 0. So this is my basic sine, which we all should be very familiar with. And what's going to happen if I give you y equals 3 sine of 1/2 x? Y equals 3 sine of 1/2 x. What's the 3 going to do? My amplitude is going to be equal to 3. What's the 1/2 going to do? My period is going to be 2 pi. Guys, this is important. 2 pi divided by 1/2, and keep it, change it, flip it. How do I get rid of this 1/2? We have to multiply by 2/1. And so that gives me a period of 4 pi. That means I'm stretching it out. So normally it only takes me pi to go up and back down. How long is it going to be if I make my period 4 pi? 2. My amplitude is now 3. My zeros don't change, so I'm going to be at 0, up to 3 pi, and then back down to 0. Right? Does that make sense? If we wanted to continue, we would. This is going to come back. Where would this go to? If I go 3 more units, actually it's even in the middle. I would have to go 1, 2, 3 more to get all the way down here to -3. So I'm going to go up and back down. This would, if you went over 6 more units, you could go to the -1. What's going to happen in this direction? Which down to -3 and then back up. I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you. If you have behaved and there have not been any issues in class, then you do not have homework. If you have not behaved and there are issues, and that will be completely up to Miss Acuff, then you will have homework. You are to graph the sine of x 10 times from -2 pi to 2 pi, and you are to graph the cosine of x 10 times from -2 pi to 2 pi. I hope you have a great day.